The messiest affairs on Paternity Court.
I do not approve of the behavior, but I'm just saying, if you sleeping with somebody's husband, you got to at least lock the door.
Did you sleep with him?
Yes, I did.
Have you slept with her too?
Absolutely
Well,
not.
goodness gracious.
Okay, heads up. This first trail ride is gonna be straight up messy, as Sowers is in court to prove Miss Rowland wrong.
You say your 14-year marriage has been turned upside down by Ms. Roten's claim that your husband fathered her 5-month-old son, Aiden. You claim that Ms. Roten is a home-wrecking harlot, but there is no way your husband fathered her child.
Yes.
Oh, rough way to start. But Mrs. Sowers explained herself like that.
Me and Adam have been married for 14 years. She has tried to destroy my marriage. She's tried to put this baby off on Adam, saying it's his baby. She's tried to file child support papers, which I have right here.
That you asked for.
And you know, the strange thing about it is in Horry County. Isn't that something?
While the young baby mama had this to say about the whole situation.
Ms. Roten, you stated in your court papers that Ms. Sowers is, quote, a pathetic old lady who can't hang on to her man.
Yes.
He just says a few nice things to you and then you end up having sex with him?
It was a lot more than that.
Yep, saying sweet things ought to do it.
How often would he come over after that?
Every day.
He was spending the night every day?
Yes, ma'am. Sleeping in my bed.
And this is how the wifey found out about the affair.
I had a friend up the road that says, your husband is at a girl named Chrissy's house. And I'm like, where's that? And she gave me the location and his car was there. And the first time I called him, they were on the couch. And I pulled Adam out off the couch and
That's
said,
a
let's go. And you ran in the back room.
That's a lie.
So after this, the whole infidelity went on like this.
He was missing a lot. And I wondered where he was.
With me.
Yeah, and he was at her house.
Oh, so he was missing all night?
He would go, he'd leave at certain times of the night, and I'd wake up and he wasn't there.
Show up at my house 3 o'clock in the morning.
So,
Yeah,
he
I
would
did.
show up at your house at 3 a.m.?
Oh yeah, all times of night. Just come in and get in bed with me.
Next, the pregnancy revelation came in.
Tried to find him. There was his car at her house, as usual. And I opened the door, and he's on one side of the bed, she's on the other, but he's dressed. I'm looking at her, she's in a little tank top. I'm like, pregnant? She's like, yes, I'm pregnant.
That's
and
not how it happened.
Adam's child. I said, is that true, Adam? He says, I don't know, maybe.
Wow, that is quite a revelation. But guess what? Things are just heating up.
How did you know she was sleeping with 7 other men?
She doesn't.
Because they were all informants. And there was a guy on top of her, and I shut the door.
No,
Yes,
ma'am.
I did, because I seen my husband.
What in the world?
She comes
Well,
to
the
my
door
house,
was
first of
always
all, in
open.
and out.
I mean,
Second
she
of all,
had
comes to
people
my
coming
bedroom.
in and out like a revolving door.
Miss Rowland explained herself to court in this way.
If I'm in my own house,
I
not
mean,
some
look,
crazy lady coming to my house.
look, I do not approve of the behavior, but I'm just saying, if you sleeping with somebody's husband, you got to at least lock the door.
He's
In the
not my lover.
hospital room with you when you delivered your baby.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you there, Mr. Sowers?
I was there at the end, yes, Your Honor.
Huh, but there's more. Both Sowers were at the hospital, and now they are denying paternity. And they had a poll done.
Oh, it's incredible.
It's
And
ridiculous.
I mean, it's like a mother and a daughter arguing, because that's pretty much the age difference. How
Yeah,
old
'cause
are
she's
you, Miss
50.
Sowers?
47.
And how old are you, Miss Roten?
22.
I mean, to watch you have to argue with a girl over your husband.
Yeah.
See, this is why it started out as messy. So let's end this, shall we?
Mr. Sowers, you are the father.
Thank you. Have a nice life.
See, when you do more of the chatting on chat lines, you end up in paternity doubt.
Pulsinger, you petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that the defendant is the father of your 2-year-old son, Gabriel. You say Mr. May has abandoned his responsibilities and he will get the truth today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. May, you claim you were pressured into signing the birth certificate and now you are stuck with a woman who believes you are her child's father.
The distressed mother started off by telling the court this.
You know, and it's hurting me because it's hurting my son. And it's sad.
My doubts, though, Your Honor.
How did you meet?
I met him off the chat line, was lonely, so I decided to call and try to basically find something to do.
Yeah, she found something to do, and we end up messing around too fast.
Right, that's what I don't understand about these chat lines, Ron.
Exactly my point, ma'am. Still, let's proceed.
You remember that first night, Ms. Hulsinger?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you use protection?
No, Your Honor.
So what happened when you got to the point where you realized you were pregnant?
I called him and told him that it was a possibility of me having his child.
That wasn't how it went.
Yes, it is.
No. Months and months passed by, and then she just told me that she was pregnant.
Were you all still in a sexual relationship all
Yes,
the
Your Honor.
time?
Yes, Your Honor.
After this, the judge jumped into the doubt part.
Did you say to yourself, I may not be the only possible father here?
That came time when I was over her house. Open up the back door, there's a gentleman right there.
Really?
While she hid behind the refrigerator.
Oh, you saw her hiding?
Yeah.
Okay, things just got straight up fishy, didn't they?
Who is this guy?
And at the time, she's pregnant.
It's a guy that I used to mess with, and I had cut it off with him totally, put a wedge between me and him.
That wasn't the only thing, though, Your Honor.
Oh, what else?
I mean, I'm not too heavy of a sleeper, so at the time, I'm spending the night with her. I'm seeing messages pop up on the phone. That led me to doubt, too. Not only the backdoor situation, but just text messages.
But Mr. May did sign the certificate even after the doubt.
It says you signed the birth certificate too.
Yeah,
How did
right.
that happen?
Pressure. I'm getting. He has your nose. He has your head. I'm just like, let me just be a man. Let me sign the birth certificate. If it's mine, I'm gonna deal with it.
Because at that point, her family has come and picked you up.
Yeah.
And you didn't call for this
No, I
ride.
didn't call for nothing.
However, Ms. Hulsinger shared her version with the court.
You know, that baby is his, Your Honor, and it's really hurting me that he's not stepping up to be a man. My son needs
Your
his
Honor.
father. You know, I was doing my own thing too, as well as him, because he was out there doing what he wanted to do too.
What I'm doing has nothing to do with her affecting her having.
Well, that part I'll give you. You really can't go tit for tat with a man.
The baby mama even brought up her conception calendar, which didn't work in her favor.
Gives me the day you were intimate with Mr. May.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that would be January 26th.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then you believe you conceived on January 28th.
I believe I conceived on the 28th.
Okay, so that's Mr. May. The refrigerator guy, the whole week of the 13th. That is very close window of conception.
But the alleged baby daddy had another bomb to drop.
You had another man tested?
Yes, Your Honor.
So wait a minute now. You just said to me earlier, Ms. Hulsinger, now you need to just tell the truth. From the beginning, you knew there was more than one possible father.
Yes, Your
You
Honor.
had this gentleman tested.
Yes, Your Honor.
See, things like this only have one solution. Let's get to that.
Mr. May, you are the father.
This 36-year-old woman is in court to find her real daddy, as she believes that her mother is lying.
Ms. Robinson, you are suing your mother for paternity fraud and are here to prove that Mr. Moore is your biological father, even though your mother put another man's name on your birth certificate. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
So, the duo started off on a real wrong foot, and it was about to get worse.
She's lying. I've always told her who her dad was. And to my knowledge,
Who was supposed to be my dad?
It's not Mr. Moore. I had already moved
But
on.
the
I
other
was very
guys that
young.
she says is my father, I look nothing like.
And you don't
They
look
have
like
never
and she
claimed
doesn't look
me.
like him either.
I look like
I've never kept secrets from her, Your Honor. I've always been honest to the best of my ability
That's
to
not
her.
true.
Ms. Harms further explained herself like this.
I never thought he was a father because I had already moved on, Your Honor.
You got pregnant after you already moved on away from him, so there's no way he could be your biological father, so you didn't even feel like there was any reason to entertain that.
Yes, Your Honor.
But Robinson had her own reasons to believe Mr. Moore was her father.
Honor, I'm convinced because I've heard a lot of rumors in the small town we're from in Arkansas. Everybody says that this man is my dad. You know, he's always came to me and said he's my dad.
What?
But the thing was, I was always being sent, but it was kind of weird because I was young and I was just told that he's not your father.
Ooh, that's a red flag, isn't it?
Mr. Moore is not your father.
Yes, by my mother.
Did you ask the question? How did this come up?
She had just told me one day that if a Vernon ever came to you and told you that he was your dad, tell him to get out your face, leave you alone, and he's not your father.
While the baby mama, on the other hand, refused to come slowly, and the birth certificate part further tickled her.
Her and Mr. Moore are compulsive liars.
How am I a compulsive liar when
Everything
I never
I
had...
Miss Robinson.
Oh, you think your daughter forged a name?
Yes, ma'am.
You gave me the
I
birth
gave you that
certificate
with
when I
no
was
signature.
12.
I didn't give you
to
that
work
with
at
no
the beauty
signature like
salon.
that.
Mom, it had a
Of course,
signature on it when you gave it
I didn't
to
give you that when you were 12, Your Honor. When they got a certain age,
We started
18
working.
and up, that's when I start giving my kids.
She explained her relationship with Mr. Moore like this.
My mother was never there, and I'm running around young like I got a chicken with with her head cut off.
Admit to a sexual relationship with him.
Yes, ma'am.
How long was this relationship?
I'm so old now.
Your Honor, this is what it is. Everybody put it to the back of their mind.
That age, maybe.
So they don't want to think about it.
Years.
Mr. Moore himself believed that he was the father.
I always have said she was my daughter because she looked
You
like
just believed it.
I believed it.
And because of the time, because you were there, and when she got pregnant, you knew it was around the time that you all were having all that sex as teenagers.
I was there a lot.
Now, let's get to the results.
Mr. Moore, you are not her father.
Oh my God. Dude, who is my daddy? Who did I tell you was? You gray hair gonna do
I would help you with 2 months.
Mr. Hunt is in court today to get a gold digger off of his back.
Mr. Hunt, you have petitioned the court for a paternity test to prove that you are not the father of Miss Tinsley's 3-year-old daughter, Josiah. You say that she is a gold digger and that your relationship with her was brief and purely sexual.
However, Miss Tinsley denied all the plaintiff's claims.
You could care less about Mr. Hunt's rap career or his money, and your only concern is that your daughter grows up with a father.
Yes, ma'am.
You admit that you were confident another man was her father until a previous DNA test proved otherwise. But now there is no question in your mind that Mr. Hunt is your daughter's biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
After this, Mr. Hunt explained her cocky self while trying not to be cocky at all.
I'm like the hottest rapper around, not to be sounding cocky or,
He's
toot my horn. Coming at me for looking at dollar signs. She see dollar signs.
He's dead broke.
A few years back, but I only hooked up with her one time.
That's a lie. We had sex several times.
One time.
Which baby mama interrupted like this.
Well, I'm a groupie all of a sudden.
She came to me about the baby. I found out about it on Facebook over my mother. I seen it on the internet. She took my picture.
After he put
Put it next
statuses
to
about
her
me on his
daughter
Facebook
and put
page.
"You are the father." This was on the internet, Yana.
And I tested him, and it came back negative. Okay, and you the next possibility because I was messing with you around the time I got pregnant.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious.
Yeah, let's recap this, as it is surely far more complicated than it looks.
Let's recap this. You had sex more than one time.
Yes, ma'am, we sure did.
It was
At
a
least
sexual
no more than
relationship that was
5.
ongoing?
No, it was like over.
What kind of drug?
Is that you were having sex with someone else during that very
Yes,
same
I
time?
was single, and I was kind of doing me. But if I was so much of a slut, I would have 5, 6, 7 kids by 7 different men. I got 2 children by 2 different men.
Well, that does not resolve the paternity issue. It kind of gives rise to one mama.
You tested one man
Yes, ma'am.
that you thought
My
was your child's
ex-boyfriend.
father.
Yes, ma'am.
Because that was your boyfriend at the time.
No, not at the time. It was just my ex-boyfriend. We were still kind of messing around.
She waited till after I had a buzz in my city. I'm on the radio. I'm opening for major acts. After she seen that I'm doing things, I'm moving places. I'm going
This is
around.
what fame does
It's
to
just-
people.
it's
So
just-
changes.
But wait, there's more craziness yet to be revealed.
She came to the club with the baby?
Jan, I kid you not. She came to the club with the baby on her arm yelling, "You are the father. This is your baby. Why aren't you taking care of your baby? You're a deadbeat dad."
I cannot believe what I'm hearing.
So that didn't happen. Miss Tinsley, you never.
I never had my baby
Jan,
at the
not
club.
only the
Next, Judge Lauren called up Mr. Hunt's mother to the stand.
I'm not raising mama's boys, I'm raising men. And if he is the father, then he's gonna step up and do what needs to be done.
Okay.
I've already drawn my conclusion about this young lady. She told me that somebody else had been tested. We're testing for DNA, but we might need to test for STD.
Apart from paternity, Judge Lauren was concerned about why a mother would humiliate her own child.
Why do you make that move? Why do you post her picture alongside this man's picture without confirmation that he's the father? Mother does that with their child's picture.
Him or his mama tell me anything different.
Let's get one thing straight. That father at risk or exposing his personal business, you're exposing your child.
And this definitely calls for some good schooling, doesn't it?
All this Facebook posting and texting all your business out in the air, you cannot get mad if later you are judged on those actions when you put them out in the universe for everyone to see. I know. Let's keep it really real. You didn't have to go that route.
So, let's get to the results.
In the case of Hunt versus Tinsley, when it comes to 3-year-old Josiah, Mr. Hunt, you are not her father.
Thank you, Jesus. Yeah, wow. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Zara, after getting backstabbed by his best friend and his girlfriend, returned to court with another paternity doubt.
After After your last appearance in this courtroom, you confess you walked away devastated upon finding out you were not the biological father of the defendant's son.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now you say that experience has left you in doubt about whether you're the father of her 8-month-old daughter as well. The man seated next to me could be your daughter's biological father.
After hearing the initial testimony, the judge moved to McCaffrey.
Were you intimate with Ms. Nato?
Yes, Your Honor.
You were?
Yes.
Without protection?
Yes, she was sleeping with me, my boy, and him, but who knows if it was all at the same time, you know what I mean?
So, Mr. Zara, do you believe that?
Yes.
Mr. Zara, you say you brought a surprise witness.
Yes.
Mr. McCaffrey and Ms. Nato were sleeping together.
Yes.
The surprise witness told the court this.
What facts do you have or what knowledge do you have regarding this situation?
2 individuals together when I was with one of Tom's ex-girlfriends. We ran into them 2 at a store.
You seen us together. Did we have our clothes on?
Yeah.
Were we sleeping together right in front of your face? Did
No.
you see us have sexual intercourse?
Do I know you
So
just
your
had sexual
testimony
intercourse?
is completely irrelevant.
And this is just about enough to push Judge Lake's button.
I'm not sure if there were eyewitnesses with the person you were sleeping with in the last case, when unfortunately
No, but I never
you
denied
ended up
sleeping with either one of them in the last
ended
case.
up in a situation where Mr. Zara was not the father
Absolutely.
of the
And
child.
I told-
And look, unfortunately, that situation is what has led him to the doubt he's experiencing right now.
Next, we had 3 men at the stand testifying against the same woman.
Okay, hold
What
on.
do
Let me
you know
correct that.
about-
We're not as
friend,
close as we
unless
used to
I'm
be.
Okay, well, you're
Different
not
about
as close as you used to be. So now, what do you have to add to this story?
I was with Kayla the longest out of anybody. I was with her first. When me and her first initially split up, she had started talking to Tyler. They weren't together in a relationship. They were together as friends. They hung out together. They partied. They did what they did. They were friends with benefits, more or less.
After that, the judge tried to conclude the conception fact.
You were in a sexual relationship with Ms. Nato and the extent of time.
I don't remember the extent of time. It went over for a good amount of period of time.
You also petitioned the court for a lie detector test.
Yes.
Why?
She lies to me all the time. I just want to find out truth.
He's a liar too. They all are.
However, that resolution led to this.
Did you sleep with him?
Yes, I did.
Have you slept with her too?
Absolutely
Well,
not.
goodness gracious. I'm trying to break this down to you so you can understand it, because this anger you have, it's not productive. And it's not going to be
falls back on me.
Exactly, which means you got to leave
But
these
I'm not
guys
the
alone.
only bad guy. They need to leave me alone.
I don't think
then.
you're a bad guy.
So the judge asked for lie detector results for some clarity in the situation.
Are there any other potential biological fathers of baby Ariella other than the 2 men who have been DNA tested for this case? That's Mr. Tom Zara and Mr. Tyler McCaffrey. You answered no. And the lie detector results revealed you were being truthful.
Next, we'll get to the much anticipated result, which will put in.
It has been determined by this court that her father is Mr. Zara.
You have a lot of apologizing to do.